But here we are heading into it. Our first match will be on Splat Zone's Humpback Pump Track. The comps should be in pretty standard, at least by what we know from these teams. And I like the pick of the Splash. Probably a Neo Splash? Yes, Neo Splash.
Yeah, definitely. Not a weapon we see too often in competitive play, but I think it's kind of come back a little bit.
It has its painting ability, the combination of the sub and that suction bomb rush is so difficult to prevent from capping a zone on the defensive end.
And as we were talking, the members of quantuM have already taken 2 members of A2M out, giving them a slight lead of 83 to 100 to start off this match.
And it is ticking away fast. This is one of those maps that can get out of hand pretty quickly, especially when you have DJ flanking in on the left and using that burst bomb rush. That thing has so much range. Everyone all around spawn needs to be wary of it.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, we have seen kind of an increase in usage of that Soda Slosher. You want to talk a little bit about how you feel about the Soda Slosher?
I personally really like the Soda Slosher as a weapon to play. However, going against it is one of the most troubling weapons in the world. Slosher has an insane hitbox, and then when you pair it with such a strong sub like Splat Bomb and even Burst Bomb Rush, it gets a buff on land too that people need to remember about.
And like you were saying, that control is so easy to lose. A2M, they do get the control of the zone?
Yes.
The zone, yes, that's what it's called.
Yeah. That's usually the target of Splat Zones, since you want to get control of the zone.
Yeah.
And will they be able to hold control here through the Buoy Bomb? No. Buoy Bomb being one of the best specials on this map because it basically eats up the entire zone.
We do see Sun taking 1 member of quantuM out. Bubbles coming out on the side of A2M Sayonara. I was going to say, I thought they were trying to leave the bubble there to maybe save a little bit of turf later on.
But I don't think they're going to get away with that. Sun,
barely escaping there.
And he's going to leave. He did plenty of damage, took away that armor, but left him on 99.9 damage for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, this burst bomb rush coming out from DJ is so problematic. The range, just eating up, getting Anthony finally.
And there it goes with quantuM ticking down their actual score timer. Score timer? Score?
Their score is ticking away,
yes.
like a timer almost.
Like a timer.
But this baller should be able to cap it back in the favor of Sayonara. And I was mistaken earlier. I expected to see Bagel purely on ballpoint, but now we do get to see his Nautilus. He's one of my favorite players of all time to watch because his Nautilus it's such a unique and rare weapon, even though it is becoming more and more popular, but he plays it better than anyone out there.
What do you think differentiates his gameplay for Nautilus from, say, the average Nautilus player?
If I knew the answer to that, I might be trying to join him as a Nautilus player, but I keep it far down in the weapons pages. So I have no idea. I think he's just incredibly accurate with it, and he knows he has that charge time just memorized, committed to memory.
Yeah, and definitely just, positioning is so important with something like a Nautilus. Just being able to identify where to be and how to best, say, flank or, just go up front. I think that was a squid bag coming out on the side of quantuM.
That was. I think we might end up seeing that a fair bit from Zero. It's not a move he's unfamiliar with, but a very well-played match on the side of quantuM. A2M looked strong at certain moments of that match, but I think ultimately the experience of quantuM, and I do want to point out that when a team comes in here, even if it is such a skilled substitute as Ant, that doesn't always transfer over to having that coordination that you've learned to play with over the last 6, 5, however many months, or I was going to say years.
I was going to say years, and then you're like, wait, Splatoon hasn't even been out.
Splatoon hasn't been out for 6 to 5 years.
But, I definitely agree. I think I've mentioned it before, you can only build so much synergy in the time that you make a pickup or you pick up a team member.
It's very true, and we do really appreciate seeing how hard the substitutes try, because obviously Ant is out here doing his absolute darnest to win this.
For sure.
And he is the standard, and I still love looking over and seeing that.
Hey, listen, if you can stand and play video games, all the power to you.
I mean, we've actually seen several. I think we were facing against a standard earlier in Silver Bracket, and of course, Spy Guy, probably one of the most prominent standards of Splatoon out there.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, I think that they have chosen their counter pick.
Yes.
It is Makomart Rainmaker.
And we'll get on to that map in a little bit, but just to remind everyone at home about the counter pick system, the team who lost the previous match gets to pick a mode.
Yes.
The winner of the previous match will then roll out 2 maps from the allotted maps here. And then the loser of the previous match will pick the maps that are pick one from the maps that are remaining. So it's a very interesting and a system that I love a lot. I wish we got to see this earlier in the stage of Splatoon 2 throughout all of the lands, because I really think it lends to focusing on a few more maps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we are getting into a very good one in Mako Rainmaker. Do you love this map?
I do like this map. I feel like in general the competitive community has agreed that Makomart is a good map.
And across all modes too.
Yes. We do see very, very similar, if not the same comps coming out from both teams.
I believe it's just Jared going from Splash to K-Pro, but other than that, DJ has switched over to a heavy splatling instead of a ballpoint, and everything else remains the same unless Brand was previously on an NZAP, which may have been the case, but now on a K-Shot. Either way, fairly similar looking comps, and we do get to see more Bagel, and I could never get enough Bagel, so...
And we do see Bagel on the classic Nautilus, like you were mentioning before. A2M making that first initial push. I love seeing Jared just pushing on ahead, making sure that the way is clear for Bagel. Stingray coming out.
That did a lot of damage very quickly. I think there might have been a few more... a bit of damage done by Zero as well. That's a good stop because it could have gotten out of hand very quickly. Maybe even 26, and they're not done yet. Those bubbles being problematic.
I think they might be done now.
I think they might be done now. It was looking like it could have been problematic, but quantuM getting rid of those bubbles and the Rainmaker carry very quickly.
They're just showing their expertise and their experience, and you know, just being able to stop pushes like that.
And they are going to get a trade there. Ant and Zero, 2 of the finest midliners you'll find. Back and forth.
The spectator cam, just one after the other.
But that was a devastating back and forth for Sayonara, with quantuM coming out with the man advantage, and now they have the lead.
Yeah. I think another thing that really shows quantuM's expertise is just knowing when to stop the push and back up. I think just being able to recognize the situation in which the players are in, it comes with experience, and obviously quantuM is a very experienced team.
I agree, and they are very much known for their aggression too, so it is good to see that when there's only one member remaining, they do back off.
I agree.
But we'll see here. I don't think Bagel's ever surviving the missile ray combo, and it wasn't even the missiles or the ray. It was Zero coming in, getting another one, and another one.
And that is a wipe on the side of A2M Sayonara.
And a small bag, but that bag might have cost him a little bit because it gave Bagel just enough opportunity to get in there and not trade out.
Now, I think that I really like the way in which quantuM is pushing the Rainmaker, but I'm just going to stop talking because I'm commentating cursing quantuM like crazy.
Well, do they know about Brand, though? Because he has gotten into a very sneaky position.
Ooh.
And Son's going to know now. But the callouts will come through. Obviously, the attention starting to transfer on over to the flank. Yes. Those missiles, it's basically just Brand stopped the push and got 2 picks simply by not being found. It's such a important part of his game.
For sure. I think I really like just the fact that Brand didn't give up their position right there, that they were able to just, you know, hold down the fort, surprise the enemy, and, you know, make a slight comeback with that.
And some people would have gotten that first pick, and they would have initially just continued to hold forward, trying to get those next few picks on the flank. But Brand called out where they were, let his teammates know, and they did the work too. You
know, communication, just part of the game of Splatoon 2.
The biggest part of the game, I would say. Communication, far more important than technical skill. If you can communicate to your teammates where the opponent is, you're going to win a lot more than you're going to lose.
I definitely agree, and you know, we've seen it. We're competitive players.
We've learned that Sigrex doesn't have good callouts. But we don't have to watch him. We get to watch these guys. A little bit of a battle going here for the Rainmaker pop. But I think Sayonara is going to need a few more picks before they can really get this push going.
And you know what? This game is very close. A 38 to a 40 is, it really still could be anybody's game. That 2 points goes by so quickly if they can just get the right positioning, the right push going.
It does, but this is going to be such a difficult push. DJ came in with the flank while tension was building up that Ray. Just the combo of it. Going to stop Sayonara in their tracks.
And with 30 seconds left, 2 down on the side of Sayonara, we're going to have to see some really crucial picks in order for Sayonara to make that comeback.
And Zero and Brand were doing a very nice tag team effort of just pushing Sun back. Not trying to engage, not trying to go down a player, but getting back some map control without really ever being in threat. I say that, but Sun and Bagel saying we are always under threat when we're here.
Oh, Bagel, not sure what to do with the ball.
He knows he has to pop the Rainmaker. There's no time, though.
Oh. I think there was a little bit of decision-making going back in there.
There was.
With Bagel deciding, should I chase this other person? Should I pop the Rainmaker? And I think that indecision kind of maybe cost them a little bit of time.
It definitely cost them time, but I would not say it cost them the match. At that point, I think it was already gone. Even if he pops the baller on the Rainmaker shield there, that pop, if it gets in their favor and if they pick it up, tension's right there looking at them to spray them down. That's a lot of ifs and not a good situation to be left in either way.
For sure. The probability was not on their side.
No, it was not. So that'll be 2-0 to quantuM. And I think this is the second match of quarterfinals, but I'm not.
I believe so, yes.
Totally sure.
Oh, wait, this is winner semis.
Well, that graphic has been updated since I last looked, but okay then. And it's not surprising either. You have two amazing teams like Sayonara and quantuM. I didn't really add up in my head that they would be facing off in quarters, so I'm glad to see that I was so wrong.
I'm glad to see Barry was wrong too. It's
okay. But we will have a counter pick coming through here in just a moment. What would you say Sayonara has to do here? I think the first thing I see is that their backline, they don't really have one at the moment.
And you know, with someone as strong as tension on the backline, you really need to be able to take that out in order to have a chance, because the backliner's role is just so important. It gives positioning, it gives the picks, it gives, you know, you can jump back into the battle really quickly. And
you get a view of the entire field that you can start doing better callouts with.
Yes.
That might be a change that we see here with Bagel going off of Nautilus and onto ballpoint. Other than that, though, I don't know. They've been running a front line and triple mid line, sort of.
Yeah. It's tough because with a team like quantuM, I almost said queen because I just put the words together. With a team like quantuM, you have to win those 1v1s. If you don't, they just run rampant. They will.
They will hold forward on you until you are dead, and it's never a fun time.
So just being aware, power in numbers, being able to, you know Zero is there. You know Zero is very strong. Take a friend with you. Might as well.
Might need to take 2 or 3 actually when it comes to Zero.
Just take the whole team.
But I do remember the last time I saw quantuM playing on Piranha Pit. It wasn't Splatstones, I think it was Clams, but they had a very aggressive open. 2 people rushed the enemy ramp, and DJ kind of they got trickled into a slosher. So I'm interested to see if they'll take the same approach. Doesn't appear like they are. Trying to not give up an early push here, but Zero will go down pretty quickly, and Jared getting traded out.
And you know, I just wanted to point out, Bagel did switch to the ballpoint. I think that was a good choice, just for the fact that you can stand as far back as that little bump right there and take out members of the opponent.
Certainly, and for this match, map as well, it's such a strong one. We saw, I think, it was just last set that we saw Muty on here doing work, and Biscuit as well. They were both running ballpoint. So this is back-to-back double ballpoint comps on Splat Zone Piranha Pit.
Yes. I mean, ballpoint, very, very strong.
How strong? Should we entice Twitter to?
No, let's not.
Okay. Anthony coming in here, trying to get some nice bubbles off of that Booyah bomb.
Hello? That was an interesting time.
Strange, to say the least. The fact that he lived for as long as he did was impressive, but Bagel just about gets the trade with Brand.
Yeah, I thought that was a good trade. And you know what? That just speaks a little bit to the power of the ballpoint, that even if somebody is right next to you, you have that spray power, you have that short range kind of defense.
It's by far the best backliner in those close range battles, and that's probably one of the reasons why we've seen it become so popular. These specials coming out here from quantuM, the missiles, the Booyah Bomb, they are going to get one in the form of Bagel and might be able to get another if Jared's not careful, but he has kept the high ground. You love to see it, Anakin.
Yo, Jared getting that splat before hopping down. And A2M coming out with a pretty solid lead for the time being.
And it doesn't really look like they're going to get stopped. I don't want to give them the commentator's curse, but at the moment, I think they can easily get to 20 without having to worry about losing the zone.
Definitely. And, you know, for a map as specific as this one, seeing DJ come out from the far left, I think is a very good choice, just being able to, you know, not be picked off on their way in.
Speaking of getting picked off, Bagel peeks that very quickly. Not able to get two, but getting that one will at least help Sayonara get back into this map and contend these zones.
For sure.
And it looks like Jared's in a spot.
In a spot.
Yeah.
Oh, Zero getting that double. I think that double is going to help them a lot in maintaining these zones for the time being.
Yes, as good as Sayonara were looking when they were in control, quantuM might be looking even better.
Yeah, I think so. You know, Splat Zones is a...
It's a map of defense,
It's
honestly.
definitely a back and forth kind of thing, you know?
Oh, I love that combo. Bubbles on one zone, Booyah Bomb on the other. Didn't quite get the other zone, but I think with Ant's bomb and the rain, no, never mind.
That, and you know, like I said, the lead just keeps going back and forth.
It does. We didn't get to quite see what happened to the rest of Sayonara there, but Ant unfortunately trying to get that cap on the other zone. Someone not able to deal with either Zero and or Bram. And that's going to be GG's.
Yeah, that is GG's. That is 3-0 on the side of quantuM. But, you know, those games were very well played.
Yes, they were.
Both teams are very strong. And, you know, this isn't the last we've seen of Sayonara.
Absolutely not. They'll move over, I believe, into losers' quarters.
I want to say yes. I'm not a bracket expert, so I'm going to just rely on you for that.
I don't know if you should rely on me for that type of thing, but here we are nonetheless.